Well, the whole purpose of the National League when it was first set up was to give players from all over Australia a fair chance to try and make the national team, because in the old days you virtually had to go where the good comps were to get that week in, week out competition. So you had to go to Melbourne, that was really the mecca, or Adelaide was another place where it was pretty full on. So the National League was set up to improve the standard all over, instead of having a national club championship. So 79 was the first year that happened, and to be involved with it was, it was obviously something really special. And the first game that was ever played was played in the old Snakepit, just next door here, and we played St Kilda, and we beat them on that night. And Larry Senstock was part of St Kilda. Brian Curl was the coach, and they ended up winning the whole championship that year. And St Kilda, their contribution to the National League was something very special, and they were really probably the real first professional team that worked hard to look after their players and all that sort of stuff. So that was great, and to be involved, it was just the start of what has ended up to be. When you look at it these days, Hawks are the only foundation club still left in the league, and you think about that, the size of Illawarra and Wollongong, to be able to do that above all those other cities is something very special, and that's attributed to the community and the passion that they have for the Hawks. Well, the thing for me was to go from the old Snakepit and play in the new Snakepit. And for me it was 84, first time the Hawks made the playoffs, and the night here was unbelievable. We had the streamers, people were carrying you around on their shoulders, and still got a couple of old pictures of that. And just again, the actual passion and you could feel the enjoyment and the satisfaction of the whole community that supported the team. And don't forget, back then it was a lot different, because it was an association team, so there was no private ownership. It was the members who were the volunteers who did all the hard work. It was the ladies and the guys bringing the food for after the game, and meeting up here in the bar and having a few drinks, and it was very special, and that was a really special time, and to make the playoffs for the first time. And then obviously the Hawks' history is that was the first one, and they went on from that. And I guess another thing for me from a player that was really unique was that when we used to play in the old Snakepit, part of your pre-game preparation was actually bringing the seating in. So the guys would come in the morning, you'd go and get all the scaffolding, not the scaffolding, but the actual seats, and you'd bring the seats in. You'd go and get the wooden seats and you'd bolt them onto the thing, and then you'd shoot around, you'd go home, and you'd play, and then later on you take them back down again. So in the early days, that was part of the go, as part of being in the league. When I was very young, my parents spoke to me about remembering where you come from, where you are now, and where you want to go. And I think this club has been very good at that. If you think about, you go back and you think about where the club come from, with the people building the stadium and how they did that. You look at the people that were involved in the club, the Peter Patels, the John Scotts, all those guys, and there's many, many more, but they played in the precursor. And I can always remember when I was a young bloke coming into the Hawks the first time, the stories that the John Scotts and the Adrian Hurleys and the Tony Oystons and the Peter Patels, about when they used to go away, and the young blokes, the fish and chips and the road trips, they didn't get no money for it. They paid to actually go to Melbourne and play. And that's just how the whole game's evolved. And I guess to see that, and then to be involved here as a player and go through the the old Snakepit to here, and then when the club moved to the new sand pit down the road, you know, I wasn't there as a player, but I eventually went back there as a coach. But now after having, you know, probably 10 years, 12 years away, and then to come back into the community, to see that, to come back in this really special year that we had last year, that passion, that desire, that commitment was still there. And those people, you know, they rallied behind, and a lot of the people that had obviously supported the team in all those many years ago came back. The other thing also for me, which has been, you know, unbelievably fantastic, is, you know, as a player, I can remember a lot of young guys that were here as, like Flinny was, you know, running around the place, and now he's an assistant coach. There's many other kids who were, you know, the towel wipers, who then turned around and ended up playing for the Hawks. But now to see some of the guys that play for the Hawks and now see their kids, you know, going down that path, it's a fantastic, and it's that really tremendous tradition. When, you know, after the last game, they were having a wake, and then people decided to give it another crack, and, you know, a small group became a bigger group, and then it really started rolling. And, you know, obviously you needed everyone to come together, you know, for the 50 odd people in the community to throw in $5 grand to give some working capital for AHM to, you know, who'd basically been with the club when I was a player. The name might have changed, but it was the same organisation. And here they are, they're coming back and saying, hey, we're in for the couple of years so you can make it go. And then the last minute to have NRE come on board, and then for the, you know, for the general, the community to come out and support us with season tickets and to turn up in the game, and then how the whole thing snowballed was, you know, was just unbelievable. And then, you know, the success was great, but what was better to see the enjoyment on the fans' faces from that success, and the whole range of different community that was there. You know, a lot of different, you know, people in the community, from disadvantaged kids to, you know, the corporate world, and everyone in between, to see their enjoyment on their faces, to see them there supporting their Hawks. And what's the great thing about it, the little kids that were here when I was here playing, it's them and their families, and that's, to see all that sort of stuff sort of blew me away, and it was just, you know, just a great year.